Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at an absolutely insane battle in the T95 E6. The E6 is basically the strongest tier 10 in the game right now when you add all of its capabilities together. It has the mobility of a medium, able to reach 50 kilometers per hour with a power to weight ratio close to 20. The vehicle has 3,100 base damage per minute and 3,250 running rammer. It has great levels of penetration on the standard and the gold. It has fairly good accuracy, combat stabilization, allowing it to be accurate while at slower speeds as well. And when you pair all of that with the 10 degrees of gun depression and the buffed turret armor, which is strong enough to now get bounces on the hatch of even heat shells, yeah, the E6 is definitely in the most busted state I think it's ever been in, and yeah, the thing's pretty insane. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a replay by Laggers4X in his E6. This game is going to be played on Ghost Factory, and this is an absolutely crazy carry. I always pick the best replays for you guys to watch, and that's because sometimes the replays can be a little bit but this one had a lot of luck, as all high replays do, but had a lot of skill as well. So what do we have up against Laggers here? Well, it is 4 heavies, 3 tank destroyers, and not a single medium or light in sight. That is really good. At the end of the day, not having to deal with mediums or light tanks when you are in a heavy is just the dream situation. First of all, it means that there's more hit points on the table to farm. If there's less mediums, less light tanks, and there's more heavies, then yeah, obviously there's always going to be more HP available to get a high damage battle out. But when you pair that with the fact that there is no tanks that are going to outspot you, no tanks that are going to bleed you out from positions that you don't want to be getting shot from, it just puts you in the dream situation. So let's see exactly what happens here. At the beginning of the game, Laggers is going to aim in on the Jagdpanzer 100. Oh, that's unfortunate. Shell goes high instead of hitting the Jag in the actual superstructures we can see. Aiming in on the Jag again there, that was just kind of a bad snap, but it was going to be a pretty tricky shot either way. Now, an interesting question is, Laggers running rammer or Cali on his E6, and he's running calibrated shells. Good job from Laggers there. I love a fellow calibrated shells enjoyer. And as you're going to see from the post-game results in this battle, once again, rammer is not always the way to go, and this game was achievable by running calibrated shells. So what's going on here? Well, Jagdpanzer's in mid and gets a shell into the Conway. You may not have noticed, but there's already 2 tank destroyers down on Laggers' team. An FE2 B183 and a Foch 155, which is not necessarily good. Now, Laggers makes a bold crossing there in front of the 183, but the 183 does not take the shot, and because of that, it gives Laggers a free position to move back here and start covering his team's rear. This is a very important play. Kind of think of the 183 and the BZ on the enemy team like mediums, right? What's happening right now is the entire enemy team is just collapsing around Laggers' team. He has a Hawk 12, but for some reason the Hawk decided to play aggressive frontline against the heavies instead of flanking, which has put Laggers just basically without a team. Like, this is the worst situation you can be stuck in. This is like average team where just everything falls apart around you, and now you're stuck against 5 tanks. But Laggers is in at least a decent situation here because most of the enemy players are, well, not playing to the utmost of skill. And when you pair that with the fact that they are all right now staring at the Progetto, it gives Laggers just that little bit of free farm. Now we get another shell out. Nice. Okay, so 3,360 damage has been dealt. And as I said, this is a very high damage game, so we're going to see just how much damage Laggers is able to farm in this 1-minute time span. So what do we have? The BZ's over here, and aiming it on the lower plate. Nice shot, 395 damage. Now we're up to 4,000 damage. Okay, well, the Conqueror's rolling off to the side here. And, well, the Conqueror has now realized, maybe that wasn't the best play ever. Bonk, easy high explosive right into the roof. Okay, it's a 1 versus 3 at this point. Laggers has conserved all of his health, and wow, the 60 TP manages to bounce Laggers. Then he gets tracked with a penning shell. That was a really, really nice touch there, because that spins the 60 just enough for Laggers to be able to get to his side, and then damages the 60 TP's ammo rack. And as we can see, that 60 TP has not used a repair kit because he just used the repair kit to fix his track, which means that the 60 TP now, well, yeah, is kind of cooked. Now, that bounce was just an El Bozo moment. Penning an E6 should not be a challenging task, especially when you have 7 degrees of gun depression, but, yeah, the 60 TP is not doing the best of jobs here. And with the damaged ammo rack, it gives laggers this great opportunity to just absolutely farm him out. Boom! Easy clear with an ammo rack to top it off. Now it is a BZ-68 versus the Waffenträger Panzer IV. Laggers gets a nice shell into the upper engine deck of the BZ. And now he's up to 6,700 damage. Another pen into the upper plate. 400 damage once again. Now sitting at 7,000. The Waffenträger rolls off to the rear, though. Gets a pen out. And oh, no. The BZ also gets a pen. But thankfully for laggers, the BZ gets lit on fire, lowering him to a one-shot. Sometimes that luck does come in clutch. So now it is a Waffenträger who misses the shot. Bro, how do you miss that shot? You got a fully exposed E6 and you miss that? Bruh, that was almost a heartbreak, but in return, the Waffenträger said, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna let bro win this game. So now it's a 500 health Waffenträger versus a 100 health E6 that Waffenträger bounces the high explosive, must have hit the gun, and actually ended up damaging himself and allowing the E6 to clear him. What an absolutely crazy game. A 9,400 damage battle in the T95 E6. Obviously, there was some luck involved in this game. The enemy team was, let's be honest, quite terrible. But I mean, it's Noob MM. What can you expect, right? When you've got a bunch of people that are under 5,000 games, you're going to be running into people that don't necessarily know what they're doing. I always like to showcase in a game that is played whether it is Noob MM or not. And as we can see, this player was most likely in Noob... Well, this was obviously Noob MM when the game was played. So I should clarify that if you're wondering why the enemy team was so darn bad, most of the players were sub 5,000 games. But that does not take away from the absolutely crazy carry that was performed in this game and the insane amount of luck paired with skill that was involved. The 60 TP not only bouncing all of his shots, but then getting a damaged ammo rack, getting spun right at the perfect time, allowing the E6 to get to its side and bleed him out was incredibly lucky. And then you pair that with the fact that the Waffenträger just flat out missed. The BZ-68 got that little fire which allowed him to become that slight bit lower health in the range of a one-shot for the E6. Everything that could have gone well went well for the E6. But obviously there was definitely some skill involved here. So a good job from laggers, a very, very crazy carry. And it showcases why every now and then when all of the holes align, it creates a perfect game. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about this battle, and as always, if you'd like to see more content like this, please let me know. There's a lot of replays that are always uploaded, and I'm always looking for some good ones and some tricky tanks. I mean, obviously the E6 is an incredible vehicle, so the ability to get out high damage games is always going to be limitless. But I should mention that laggers was running Cali. Laggers had a 7.8 second reload, and as we can see with calibrated shells, you are sitting at a 7.8 second reload, and there was still like 3 minutes left in that game. So for the people that still say rammer is the only way to go, I'm sorry, it's just not. Take it from somebody that just watched a 9,000 damage farm in about 3 minutes. You don't need an additional 200 damage to get that win. What you need is the ability to pen your opponents. So, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.